it's an exciting week, man. The record is finally coming out. It was supposed to,
Yeah,
it was supposed to be out already. It got pushed back, but this is the week, man. The record Sermons of the Sinner is finally releasing, and this has been a long time in the making for you. Just tell me how excited you guys are to finally have this record out.
yeah, really, really excited because I say, when I first sat down to do it in Christmas 2019, the idea was to finish the record and deliver it by April 2020, so just 4 months later.
Mhm.
And we were on schedule. We were on schedule to do that, and then the COVID thing happened, and it kind of just dragged on, didn't it? Everything just kind of dragged on. I mean, the rush was on because we had some really cool tour dates in 2020, but they got cancelled, and the same this year. But hopefully we can pick everything up as soon as we can, really, and we'll get out there and we'll do some gigs.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part, because I mean it's frustrating when it gets pushed back at first, but now that the record will have been out for a little bit before tour dates come, fans have a chance to really get familiar with the music, know the music. You have your own music, original music. You don't have to worry about fans being like, is he going to play stuff from Judas Priest or anything like that? You have KK's Priest now, and so fans can finally latch on to your music and not have to rely on the past and focus on now, and know the lyrics, know the songs, which makes the shows even better then.
Yeah, yeah, there is that. Not, and I'm fine with, like I say, you have to think this way now with the COVID thing because they're talking about another lockdown here. It's all this BS, and we as obviously musicians, I'm thinking, okay, if we don't get to go out there and tour this winter, then I've already made a good start on the next record, so we'll just carry on with that, and that's being productive, isn't it? Really, because it simply means when we do get out on tour, Reggie, that we can just stay out there, really, and we'll have an album ready to go whenever we want to release it, late next year sometime. So that'll be really cool. So I'm fine with that. Right? I know the whole guys that they're all going, oh, we want a gig. Well, we know that's the case.
Right.
It's okay for me. It's okay for me, right? Isn't it? Because I've done an awful lot of gigs in my time, and I've learned to be patient. But obviously, I do feel for the young blood in the band, AJ and Sean. Yeah, but everybody would love to be out there gigging. But personally, I'll steer the ship in any direction I can. But if I can't leave the harbour, there's no good setting. No good setting the compass to land anywhere, is there?
Right. I wanted to ask at the very, very beginning, was it the original vision when this project really started to take form and become a thing for you? Did you have a vision of what you wanted the final product, the final sound to be, and have the similarities there? Or did you think about doing something different? And when did you talk about bringing Tim in to the fold?
Yeah, the answer to that is really from the minute I sat down to do this, I just wanted to pretty much go on autopilot, and just because the whole album, there is kind of a message in there, but there's lots of emotions and sentiments and, rejoicement about, about everything in my life, really, and the evolution of metal as we know it today, when it came out of the blues and progressive blues to rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and I've been on that journey, and this album really is a rejoicement and a tribute to all of that, and hopefully, we're going to try and sustain everything that we've loved and enjoyed about this type of music, to take us into the future. And I try to really continue to encourage, fans, old and young, and musicians to want to be able to be a part of this as well. Like I say, we're not the only band. We've got the great bands out there. They're releasing product and doing. They're on tour, obviously. Maiden and Scorpions and Saxon and Accept and obviously Judas Priest and just about everybody, really. So many bands still out there doing it, and so we'll keep on going. But obviously, we can't hold back time forever, and at some point there will be a change, where people, that were a big part of this, myself included, that came from the 60s and the 70s. At some point, things will move on. So we have to make sure that when we hand over the baton, that it's going to be good and healthy and thriving, and true and classic metal is going to be, hopefully as big as it ever was.
Yeah, I see this record also as like a celebration as well. For one, your return, you're back. It's a celebration for not just you, but for longtime fans to have you back and have this music out there as well.
Yeah. There's a feel good factor and a serious energy about the album, I think, and like I say, a big part of it was how I felt at the time about doing something like this. I think. And hopefully the time is right, to really give this not a kickstart, but just to just pump up the energy levels, for this type of music that I'm, not only love so much, but that I've been a part of, the evolution of. So in a really good place with the whole thing.
So was it your decision to bring Ripper in? At what point in the process and the timeline did that decision make? Was that like from the beginning, I want Ripper to sing these songs, or as they started to take form and mold, it happened?
Definitely Ripper was the guy, because the familiarity, we've recorded together, we've toured together, and obviously his voice is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just curious. I wanted, because it didn't happen first time around, I wanted to hear Tim singing songs like this,
Yeah.
And I just knew it was going to be great. I really did. I knew it would. He could sing anything and everything, but I think that this, to be honest, I think this is where, it really sits really, really well with Ripper. And I say it didn't happen the first time around, but a lot of good stuff come from that, and we're going to be playing that again, when the time comes.
Yes, I love that. And that's one thing that I was curious about, is bringing him in is almost, it's a huge statement that you guys are making, coming together again. Is he treating this as like, I have a lot to say, this is my time to shine, I am going to just really just like,
Well, I certainly hope so, because like I say, Tim has always been busy, always been singing, playing with different artists. But I'd like, in all honesty, I think home is the word. I think I'd like to think that Tim will find a home here, a good home, and because I think, and B, obviously, and there's no reason why not, because obviously we're going to get together on, to put the next album together. And when we get out there, we've got to be gigging like non-stop. The world's a big place.
Yeah.
And we've been around there together before, and it's going to keep us very, very busy. The touring schedule is going to be insane. And I'm assuming that when we come off the road for a week or a couple of weeks, or whatever it might be, to take a break, that we'll be glad to put our feet up, and not venture anywhere else, because we know that we've got another big leg of a tour to continue on with.
Yeah, and I think I've seen you mention that the next record is going to be a lot more collaborative than the first record was, because you started writing this stuff
Yeah,
before the band
yeah.
really came together. Has there been any difference in the songwriting for album two compared to Sermons,
Well,
or is it fairly similar?
well, I'm just putting my ideas down together I mean, at the moment, because I'm on my own. The guys are back in the States and stuff. But we're all busy at the moment working obviously the um, on the promotion for the record and and getting that to go safely on its way. But I did sit down, in the last previous months and put some ideas together, and I'm liking what I'm hearing. I look forward to getting together with the guys and pounding the next record out. And I think we probably will complete another record by April,
Nice.
maybe by May,
And
something
that's
like
one
that.
thing with the COVID world is like the creativity is just flowing because there hasn't been anything to
Well,
do but write.
yeah, and we can get on with it, the writing and the recording. Last time studios closed down, hotels closed down, you
Mhm.
couldn't travel. So that was a problem, but hopefully that won't happen again. you know.
Yeah, we
So
God, we
when we
hope.
do need to get when we do need to get in the studio to put some really loud guitar down and the drums and stuff like that, that we'll be able to do that.
So now that things are finally open back up, obviously touring is really becoming a reality for a lot of bands. I mean, I know you haven't been able to do it yet, but have you started to look at what a tour would really possibly look like, where you guys might go, how you guys can pull it off and do that with all the
Yeah.
restrictions out there? Or you're looking at maybe
Uh,
2022 for that now?
Well, we had some really cool dates booked last year and this year, but they got cancelled.
Mhm.
But like I said, there is a backlog of bands trying to fulfill tours that got cancelled in the last 2 years, so that's problematic. But we have been offered dates, some in Brazil, some in Japan, some in Finland, some in Spain, etc. But it's putting them all together, to make it viable as a tour. So hopefully, the promoters will get together, especially when the album's been in circulation, and we'll be happy to do special guests or to go out there and do shows on our own. And we're ready to go anytime. Looking forward to it.
And I've got to ask, I know that this is a very deeply personal record for you on numerous levels, not just on the surface. There's so many emotions that go into this project. What does it mean to you personally to really finally have this music and this record and project seeing the light of day in fans' hands? It's finally out there. It's here.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is the fact that I'm really optimistic about there being, you know, a continuous flow of new music from the band, you know, because I think now, obviously not being in control, but now I've been forced to go this route, but now I'm good with it, because that newfound freedom, I was kind of the sole. I was doing the songwriting back in the late 60s and early 70s, when we were a four piece. And excuse me, I kind of forgot how enjoyable it is to be able to document, through the music exactly everything that you're trying to get across as an artist, as a musician, in the music and the lyrics and the sentiments, and I think that that's kind of important, and I've found that now, so I've got an awful lot off my chest in this first record, Reggie.
That's awesome. And yeah, and I kind of gather that, especially with everything, including the songs I've heard, this is definitely, this is you in every ounce of that
Yeah.
statement. This is KK Downing's statement of rock and metal, and it is flawless on every level from everything that I've heard. And it's everything that us fans could have possibly hoped for. So
I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased to hear that, because the fans were first and foremost in my mind through the whole process. you know, and I'm thinking, I'm writing, I'm thinking, I want every song to be a good song live, you know. And I was thinking of the fans and their participation and us just having a good time when we play these songs live. I didn't want there to be any luggage, you know, on the album that was not going to see the light of day on a stage. You know, I just wanted every song. If the fans wanted us to play a song, then we'd just go out there and it would be, and we could do it, and it would be a good live song also.
Yeah, I can't wait because the songs I've heard are just anthems, man. Like you just close your eyes, you can just feel it being played live. And so I can't wait to finally see that. And KK, thank you so much for coming and doing this for me today, talking to me. Thank you for the music. Thank you for being back and putting out such a great record and singles and everything. We needed it. It's here.
It's a pleasure, Reggie, and thanks for being a fan and for the support. And yeah, a long journey we've got to go yet.
Yes.
The journey I started back in the 60s, it's picking up and it's moving on.
Yeah, it's not over yet. It's nowhere close to over. We're just getting started, man.
Gonna break new barriers, buddy. Gonna break some new barriers.
I love it. And thank you so much.
We're gonna break some new metal barriers.
I love it. And
together, the journey we are gonna continue.